first session for the day. We have Daniel, who is the Senior Director of Developer Experience at the Cloud Native Computing Foundation. He is focused on better serving the maintainers, contributors, and users in the community of 200 plus open source projects hosted by the CNCF. Previously, he was a principal cloud architect who drove revenue and results across IBM business units worldwide. His career at IBM was defined by a pattern of integrating open source and third-party technologies with IBM products and services to create first-of-a-kind technology solutions that help customers succeed. Most recently, he helped fast-growing ISVs to bring the solutions to IBM public and private clouds and achieve success through embeddable artificial intelligence. Daniel has been recognized as an IBM and Open Group Distinguished Technical Specialist, Senior Technical Staff Member, Master Inventor, member of the IBM Academy of Technology, and Best of IBM Honoree. These titles reflect outstanding business results, technical innovation, team leadership, and mentorship. He served as the founding CTO of Call for Code, creating a program for the world's 25 million developers to tackle global challenges using IBM and Red Hat technology. CFC has engaged over 5 lakh participants from 180 nations and launched 14 open source projects at the Linux Foundation. He was also the first CTO of serverless developer advocacy for IBM Cloud Functions. He earlier created the DevOps infrastructure to deploy and manage the first large-scale cloud foundry clusters on OpenStack, which became the seed for IBM Bluemix. Daniel has engineered software end-to-end for a wide array of industries and earned certifications in cloud architecture, application development, and system operations along the way. He's been issued dozens of patents, spoken at many conferences, one of which is going to be with us, hosted scores of meetups, and has contributed to several IBM blogs, developer videos, and red books. Thank you, Daniel, for joining us all the way in Bangalore, right after KCD in New York. Welcome on stage.
Thank you. All right. Great. Hello, everybody. Namaskara, Bengaluru. Namaskara. All right. It's great to be back here after KubeCon India in Delhi last year, and before that, Cube Day India about 18 months ago. So as Nimi mentioned, my name is Daniel Krook, and thank you for the great introduction. I didn't realize it was that long, but I appreciate it. My name is Daniel Krook. I lead a developer experience at the CNCF, which means that I focus on making sure our community of 200 projects are happy at the CNCF with the support they get and their ability to grow as open source projects. So Kubernetes turned 10 last year, and the Cloud Native Computing Foundation, as the home for it, turns 10 this year. So in this talk, I'll take you through that past decade of innovation and give some thoughts on where we're going in the next 10 years. The CNCF was founded originally as the neutral home for Kubernetes, but it was always designed to host other cloud-native projects as well. The first planning meetings happened in May of 2015, and the CNCF itself was announced in July 2015. The governance came together in the latter part of 2015, and in 2016 we saw the launch of the Technical Oversight Committee, which manages the projects that are entering the CNCF. Do we have anybody here from the original governing board or TOC from 10 years ago? No? Okay. In any case, we owe a big thank you to the original governing board and the TOC for the strong start to this community, for what it's become today, and it continues to be with your support of all you folks in the room today. Speaking of today, we've now reached a contributor community of over 250,000 developers and over 230 projects. And in fact, this year alone in 2025, we've added, I believe, 24 new sandbox projects to the CNCF. Kubernetes itself trails only Linux as the fastest, highest velocity project out there. Behind those 230 projects, we also have a large community of close to 2,000 maintainers worldwide. And of course, many of our overall contributors come from India and are here in Bangalore with us today. Anybody a maintainer of a CNCF project? Put your hand up. All right, we have Humble. All right, we have someone in the back. So I hope by the end of this event, you're inspired to become maintainers yourself, contribute upstream to these open source projects, and make sure this community grows. As with the Kubernetes 10-year celebrations last year, we're supporting communities that want to host an event this year for the CNCF 10-year anniversary. If you're interested in hosting a CNCF celebration, please apply by June 15th, next week, next Sunday, I'm sorry. We'd love to be able to highlight the community celebrations at KubeCon NA later this year, and potentially even in Hyderabad in 2 months. Okay, so back to the origins of cloud-native computing. The roots of cloud-native take hold in earnest about 25 years ago with the mass uptake of virtualization, virtual machines, and moving from there through the broad adoption of containerization in 2015. There's also been a steady march towards proprietary solutions and proprietary innovation first, towards open source alternatives to those products. And in fact, today it's the default starting point for products and services. Open source has won. So this brings us to 2015. And as mentioned earlier, the CNCF was announced, the governance structure started to gel, and it has kicked off officially with Kubernetes as its first project. The following year, Prometheus joined the CNCF as the second project. Dan Kahn was named the first executive director, and the first Cloud Native Day was held in Toronto, as well as the first CNCF-hosted KubeCon North America in Seattle. In 2017, the first CNCF-hosted KubeCon EU happens in Berlin, and the big watershed moment there was that the CNCF hosted 2 competing container standards, which came together under a single umbrella for the market and developers to decide what was the best technology to move forward with. Later in the year, the first working group was launched to evaluate how serverless technology works in the cloud-native ecosystem. And separately, WebAssembly, as another lightweight compute platform, makes its appearance. Building on that serverless momentum, a boom in lightweight approaches to containerized workloads begins in 2018. Serverless moves away from proprietary Amazon Lambda form onto an open source implementation of both compute engine through Knative, as well as a message specification format in cloud events, which graduated last year and is now an industry standard. In 2019, observability becomes more and more important to manage the many moving parts within a microservices architecture that Kubernetes provides. OpenTelemetry brings standardization and a pluggable architecture to observability, and is the second most active CNCF project today running in production worldwide. Skipping ahead to 2021, I can never pronounce that, eBPF provides a way to extend the Linux kernel to user space applications, and several additional projects start to emerge at this level of the stack, including Cilium, Falco, and Pixie. It was originally focused on networking performance improvements, but eBPF enables now additional use cases like security and observability. On to 2023. Kubernetes emerges as the default and key platform for enabling highly scalable AI workloads, both for training as well as running the inference serving the models. In fact, OpenAI had keynoted on their Kubernetes usage back in 2017 at that first CNCF-hosted KubeCon EU in Berlin. But a huge burst in interest emerges at this time as the chatbot era enters the mainstream. 2024 was another big year for innovation in cloud-native AI. The Cloud-Native AI Working Group at the CNCF published a white paper capturing the latest usage trends and architectures. Kubernetes itself added support for dynamic resource allocation, which allows more efficient uses of GPUs and sharing. And other tools for supporting LLMs and the surrounding tools join the CNCF as well. So that brings us to 2025. Where the latest release of Kubernetes adds additional features to support the automation and support massive AI workloads. Also this year, we're seeing convergence of AI development to match the many stable features and specifications that already exist in the cloud-native world as mature projects. For example, new sandbox projects KitOps and ModelPack, which just joined the CNCF this week, extend the OCI spec for image formats to host AI ML workloads, the models, the tools, and the data around it. We've also seen Dapper launching support for AI agents, which provides a programming model for workloads, and they provide a tasked resource for integrating LLMs into Kubernetes. Again, this shows the strength of cloud-native infrastructure, which has matured over the last 10 years to support emerging and rapidly moving AI workloads use cases. And what's becoming clearer is a trend towards open source models. There have been attempts to provide a definition, but there's still some disagreement as to exactly what needs to be open, the models, the weights, all the other types of materials. So keep an eye on this space. It's going to rapidly evolve in this year. So what does this all mean for cloud-native AI? As with containerization and before that virtualization, closed vendor solutions will gravitate towards open source alternatives. Abstractions will emerge to manage complexity and integrations. And the developer experience will move to adopt the years of tools and approaches pioneered by the cloud-native community. I was speaking with someone earlier before the keynote about how do you adopt and adapt to all this innovation in AI. Well, you can look at building your cloud-native skills to support those workloads. That's a great first step, and they will eventually converge on all the best practices that have happened in the past 10 years. So let's build that future together. Okay? With that, I hope you have a great day here at KCD Bengaluru, and I hope to see you at KubeCon India, which is in 2 short months in Hyderabad. Thank you, and thank you to the organizers for putting on an amazing event here today. Thank you. All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Daniel.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Kiran.